All right, guys. I actually had a little free time to myself this morning, which is uncanny. So there's 10 million other things I need to be doing, but I figure we can continue on with this with the CD collection. Picking up where we left off on the last video, we have Brainstorm with Downburst. Pretty decent slab of power metal, kind of progressive power metal. I like Downburst. This is probably my favorite release from Brainstorm that I've heard. Admittedly, I have not heard all of their releases. I got this. I've mentioned it a few times in that those big Metal Blade Records kind of liquidation lots that I was picking up there for a little while. This happened to be in one of those, and I did dig that one quite a bit. Next up, one that I have not even taken out of the plastic yet. Usually, I don't like putting sealed CDs on the shelf. I don't put them up until I've listened through them. I got this in that Bridge 9 Records grab bag, and I got to a point where so much of that stuff was sounding identical, and I was just kind of burned out on that kind of hardcore sound that was in. I mean, it was just so similar that I was just burnt out on it. I knew it was going to be forever before I actually picked this up and listened to it, and I mean, it has been. I have not listened to it yet. This is Breathe In with From This Day On. I mean, pretty positive it's going to be some straightforward hardcore. A lot of that Bridge 9 stuff that I was listening to was sounding so repetitive, and it wasn't all even really that good. I mean, there was a lot of mediocre hardcore in that, and I just got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't listen anymore. At some point, I will listen to that, and then if I like it, I'll keep it around. If not, I'll rehome it. Next up is a band that I think they put out an album last year or the year before, and it had been the first album they put out in quite some time. I have not listened to them. I have not listened to the new album. I haven't listened to these that are in my possession in a while either. This is the Breathing Process with Odyssey Undead. I used to really be into this band. As I was saying, I just haven't listened to this in quite some time. Just I guess my taste have kind of, I don't know if my taste have changed. Just my mood for listening may have changed a little bit. This is very deathcore-ish. I just don't listen to a ton of deathcore anymore. There are some bands that I still enjoy and I still do listen to. This just has not been one that's been pulled off the shelf much as of late. And then we have the Breathing Process with In Waking Divinity. This is the slipcase version on Siege of Armada Records. Then there's the actual. I like it when you have slipcase album like artworks. I like it when the slipcase artwork is a little bit different than what you get on your jewel case artwork. It makes it a little bit better. It still had the plastic head order form in there. This one, I mean, the artworks are similar. They're almost identical, but at least it's a different color scheme. So you get, something a little different as opposed to the exact same artwork on both the slipcase and the CD. Moving on, this is an album that I got out of that huge Severed Records 100 CD grab bag that I did. This was one of the ones that I listened to pretty quick. I was pretty drawn to this artwork. I was expecting brutal death metal. This was more of a technical death metal, and I dug this album quite a bit. This is a band out of Indiana. This is Breeding Filth with Perverse Devolution. And as I was saying, this is technical, very technical stuff here. But I dug this quite a bit. It's not over the top, just super wanky technicality, but it is. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. So sometimes when I see the artworks that I'm drawn to, when I get a big lot like that, some of the stuff that I'm drawn to first doesn't turn out to be some of the stuff that I enjoyed the most. But this one here, I did dig that one quite a bit. I think that's the only full length that they put out. I think. I don't think I've been able to find anything else from Breeding Filth, but I do dig that album quite a bit. Next up, we have some groove metal. This is Brickbath with American Currency. Got this one quite some time ago on a Crash Records kind of liquidation deal that they had going on. Pretty good. I'm not, always super huge into groove metal, but I like this one for what it is. On paper, I probably should not like this as much as I do, but this one still gets pulled off the shelf and given a spin. Kind of cheesy, but I dig it. Next up, this one was a gift. This is I just went completely. Bring me the horizon, man. I don't know. Am I having stroke with Symphy Sempiternal? I believe is how you pronounce that. This is the only release from this project that I own. Will probably be the only one that I ever would want. I do dig this one quite a bit. Pretty good stuff. But as I was saying, this was probably the only album of theirs that I just really enjoy. So I was thankful to get this as a gift because it's not something I probably would have even went out and got myself. But I still do pull that one off the shelf, admittedly, and give it a spin every once in a while. Moving on, we got some Chicago death metal. We got Broken Hope with Swamped in Gore. Gnarly, gnarly stuff. Everybody knows this album. Classic stuff. This came out. I don't remember. I know it's been out for a long time. I'm pretty sure that this 1995 is when this came out. I'm pretty sure this is a bootleg just from the price that I got on this. I have not looked into it just too terribly much to match up the matrix and all of that stuff. But just I don't know. It seems like it's in too pristine shape as far as the artwork, the inserts and stuff go, and the CD itself. It seems very fishy to me to not be a bootleg, but I have not looked in to see whether it is or not. It still sounds very good, so at least it has the good sound quality. I purchased it on eBay, and I'm thinking it came from a Russian seller, so those are two big red flags. I mean, the price that I paid for it and where it came from, I'm pretty positive that is a bootleg. And then this is the only other Broken Hope album that I own. I think this one is like their seventh full length. This one came out, I think, in 2017. This is Mutilated and Assimilated. This is the deluxe digi that has the DVD insert. I had some other Broken Hope albums at one point, and I parted with them, whether it have been through selling them or trading them. Kind of kicking myself for that now. I may have to go back and at some point and re-add some of that stuff into my collection. Next up, this one, I think this came in that big VCLT that Marty sent me a little while ago. I'm thinking that one was in there. If not, I don't remember how this one came into my possession. This is some very cheesy, very cheesy power metal. This is Brothers of Metal with a Prophecy of Ragnarok. I mean, even the name of the project is cheesy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not bad. I do find some enjoyment in this, but it is just, I mean, the cheese on this is over the top. There is that Manowar song, Brothers of Metal. I'm wondering if that had something to do with them naming this project, because I mean, it's just like Manowar. I mean, they lay they lay the corniness and the cheese on so thick in this. But I do. I mean, it's really grown on me, and sometimes I do have a soft spot for that type stuff. Changing gears completely, we have some black metal. I believe this. I think this band is out of Italy. I could be completely wrong on that. It's kind of ambient, atmospheric type black metal. This is, I'm going to butcher this, Brovahanatu with a Frozen Obscene Deliverance. This is the only release. They have several releases out, but this is the only release that I happen to own. I think I got this one from Jagger Jones on eBay. I do pick up a lot of obscure stuff from him, and I'm pretty sure that's where I grabbed this copy of this release from. Good stuff, as I'm saying, just kind of ambient, very occult, ambient, atmospheric style black metal, but I dig it. Next up, we have some more atmospheric black metal. This is a project out of Mexico. This is atmospheric black, has some black gaze going on in it as well. This is Bruma with it's in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. Redescubriendo el invierno. Yeah. As I was saying, this is atmospheric black metal mixed with some black gaze. This was limited. This was extremely limited when I picked this up. Maybe it'll say, I think it was like maybe 25, limited to 25 copies. I knew that there weren't a whole lot of these produced. I dig it. Pretty good stuff there. If you're into black gaze and you're into that almost that South American Mexican style of atmospheric black metal, like Astero or Astaroth, however you pronounce it, they were pretty big into that sound as well. I think that's what led me to check out Bruma, because it was on a YouTube. They were YouTube videos, and the link that at the end of one of those Astero or Astaroth, I don't know how you pronounce that, album streams, this was on there. And then I looked up to see if there were any physicals, and they had those available, and the rest is history. Next up, we have some death metal. This is a Christian death metal band entitled Brutal Cross. The name of this album is entitled The Perfect Storm. I actually picked this up from Redstream back in the day. I used to order from Redstream all the time. I actually picked up a couple CDs this morning from Redstream, just kind of a nostalgia thing. I still check them out on eBay. Just the funds have not been there, I guess, as of late. But I went out of my way this morning to pick up a couple things from Redstream. Brutal Cross, pretty good. This was released on Vision of God Records. Pretty decent, straightforward death metal. I dig it. Next up, we have some kind of paganish death metal. There's some folky stuff going on in this as well. This is their latest release. I think this one came out in 2019. The name of this band is Brymere with Wings of Fire. This is by far my favorite release from this project. It is the only release that I own from them, but I dug this one immensely. I think I saw Pedro from A&P Reacts do a review for this, and that's what led me to check it out, and I dug it and had to get my hands on get my own copy of it. So next up, not metal. We have Jimmy Buffett with Greatest Hits. It's entitled Songs You Know by Heart, Jimmy Buffett's Greatest Hits. I've heard it called Jimmy Buffett. I've heard him called Jimmy Buffet. I've always called him Jimmy Buffett. So, Cheeseburger in Paradise, Margaritaville. It's not all metal. What can I say? There are little bits. I think like the last video had the Bone Thugs and Harmony. You will find little things like this scattered in and out of my collection. So next up, we have some folky black metal. This is Burden of Ymir, or Burden of Emir, however you want to pronounce it. This one is entitled And Then Twilight Fell. This came out last year. I did a little feature for this on one of my 7 Deadly Spins videos. I dug it quite a bit. Very good stuff here. This was numbered, I believe. No, it was not numbered. I usually don't show the brand new stuff, but it happens to be sitting right here. I just got the newest one in Burden of Ymir. This came out about a month or 2 ago. This one is entitled From Elivagar, and this one was numbered 13. So this is a very solid release. You will be, as you can see, number 13. I'm not going to show too much of this because it will be featured in a 7 Deadly Spins sometimes in the very near future. Moving on, we got a brutal death metal band that I feel like is criminally underrated. They do not get mentioned nearly as much as they should. That 99, 2000-ish brutal death metal scene, they were in that. This is Burial with Mourning the Millennium. This is their debut EP. Killer stuff here. I wish more people were into this project, more people were into this band, and those that are into this band were a bit more vocal about it. I would like to hear some other people enjoying this as much as I do. This one came out in 1998. I believe Burial is out of Massachusetts, if I'm remembering correctly. And then we have Burial with Enlightened with Pain, their debut full length. Killer. I mean, look at that. Killer, campy looking artwork. I mean, that defines that 2000 ish death metal, if anything does. I mean, it's hard to believe this album is 21 years old. That absolutely blows my mind. And then I have their last. This was the last full length that they put out. This one came out a little bit later, maybe 2006. Not 100% sure. This was released on Metal Wrestling Alliance Records. This is Burial with Divinity Through Eradication. Yeah. And this one was pretty good. I do enjoy the EP and the debut a bit more, but I like this one too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it. This still has like the little promotional thing there on the inside. It's actually part of the insert, so I'm not gonna take that out. I don't see, maybe 2004, but I'm thinking that came out around 2006. If I remember correctly, I don't know. Next up, we have some. This is a band on Face Down Records. Don't let that deter you. I know some of you probably don't like those Face Down metalcore, deathcore bands. This is metalcore, but it's like a mix of metalcore fused with technical death metal, and I dig this band quite a bit. We have The Burial with Lights and Perfections. I was originally introduced to The Burial through one of those Face Down Records grab bags that I did. I don't even know if I still have those uploaded on this channel. I took down a lot of my older like when I first started out videos because I didn't like them. This is one of the better bands that I found through those Face Down Records grab bags, and it's one of the bands that still gets playability today just because they are that good. They have not put out an album. This one came out in 2012, and then this one, which is my favorite release from them, this is entitled "In the Taking of Flesh." This obviously The Burial. This one came out in 2013, and I believe this was the last release that they have put out. This one is stellar. If you're going to check out anything from The Burial, this would be the one that I recommend to you. As I'm saying, the name of this one is In the Taking of Flesh. Just technical death metal core, if that makes sense. I know like metalcore, death metal, if you fuse those, you're wanting to call it deathcore. I don't see them as a deathcore band at all. It's just technical death metalcore is the only way that I know to describe this project. But I do enjoy both of these releases quite a bit. It's the only two releases. They had some stuff that came out prior to both of these releases, but those are the only two that I'm really just keen on having in my collection. Next up, changing gears completely, this is black metal out of Bangladesh. This is an EP. I believe this is the only release that they put out. It originally came in a little like plastic sleeve. I've changed it out and put it in a jewel case, so that's why it looks like the artwork and stuff fits a little funny. This is Burial Dust with Ashubha Ahabam. Yeah, I butchered that. Pretty good, kind of raw black metal. It says suggested to play it loud in cold atmosphere. That's kind of what a lot of black metal kind of gives you that feeling. I dig this one quite a bit. I don't remember. I got this from a seller on eBay quite a while ago. I don't remember which seller it was, but this was some killer black metal that I purchased. I purchased several items from them all at once, and that happened to be in that purchase. Next up, we have some droney. We got some, I guess, sludgy, doomy drone. This is Buried at Sea with their EP Ghost. If you're not familiar with Buried at Sea, this would be the release that I would start listening to first. It is definitely my favorite release from Buried at Sea. It is the only one that I've added to my collection, if that tells you anything. But I dig this one. It feels leaps and bounds ahead of their other material. I think the band is split up now, and this is probably the last release that they put out. This one came out in 2008, so I mean it's been out a while, but I dig this one. I may have to throw this one on after this video. I've not listened to it in quite a while, and I've definitely been into a very doomy kind of feel and vibe lately. I've been wanting to listen to a lot more Funeral Doom. I don't know. I changed the Metalhead box subscription to straight doom metal. I don't know why. Doom has just been on my mind heavy, so I'm gonna throw in some drony goodness after I get done recording this. Next up, we have a band that I have not thought about in a long time. This is Burnt by the Sun with a soundtrack to the Personal Revolution. Metalcore. Man, kind of grindcore / metalcore, even mathcore, I guess is a good way to put this. As you can see, it's got the little hole punch in the barcode there. I have not listened to this one in quite some time. I was introduced to this 20 years ago, roughly. I'm wanting to say. I wonder if it's got the date. 2002, 19 years ago. And I've had this in my collection for as long as I can remember, as well as this one. This is the self-titled, but I only have just the disc. I made a little index card with the track titles on there for the. But I've had these probably. I mean, I've had to. I mean, it's got to be pushing 20 years on those. I mean, it's just from the way it feels. I've had them in my possession. Next up, we have Burst with Origo. I think is how you pronounce that. This is another Relapse Records release. This is a band out of Sweden. Progressive, hardcore. This is one that it's almost impossible to nail down a specific genre for Burst. It can be a bit of a difficult listen, especially this release. This is one of their more polarizing and maybe one of their more ill-received releases, but it's my favorite. It's the only one that I wanted. It's the only one that I have in my collection, and I've had this. I keep getting copies of this, like whether it be through Relapse grab bags, other grab bags, VCLT or what. I just keep getting my hands on this same album. I've rehomed. I don't know how many times I've rehomed copies of this, and those copies that I rehomed, people have probably rehomed again because a lot of people don't enjoy this as much as I do. But I love this album. So next up, we have some more brutal death metal. This is Burst Bowel with Repelled Gift. I don't remember just a ton about this. Got this in a mystery box. It seemed, from what I remember, it's just kind of run of the mill brutal death metal. I don't remember just too much about it. It was not in that Severed Records grab bag. I got this in a smaller death metal grab bag at some point, but I mean it's not bad. It's just it wasn't very memorable. I just know I remember it being brutal death metal, but I don't remember just a ton about it. And then last but not least, we've got another album that I received from Marty and that huge VCLT he sent me. This is Bury the Pariah with Sociopathic Undergarment, the metal album. I was not sure what to expect when I first listened to this. It is technical death metal, and it is pretty solid. I dug this one more than I was expecting from just looking at the artwork and that type of stuff. I was almost expecting something metalcore or groovy, but this is technical death metal, and this one's been out a while too. I think this came out in 2005. And this was unfortunately the only release that they put out, and I believe this band is split up now. But this, at least they did get together and put out one killer album before they split up. So that's all for this video. I will try to get another one up as soon as possible, but stay classy, and I'll see you guys soon.